The gag order, where do we stand with that? Could we see some penalties? What could the former president face?
Prosecutors are asking for $1,000 per post. They pointed to 10 posts directly that they believe that the president violated the judge's gag order, specifically not just his post, but repost of other people's posts that attempted to circumvent what the judge said that the former president couldn't do. And so this is a unique place for the legal process when you're talking about looking at social media posts in general and then attempting to use them as a reason that a person has violated what a judge said they can't do. Judges only speak through their orders. They may talk, they may do a whole bunch of things and listen, but when they give an order, it is your responsibility as an attorney and as a defendant to listen to whatever the order says. Judge Merchan is taking this extremely serious. He said you can't just give one word response to this when they had their hearing. He said your client seems like, he didn't even say that. He said if your client has violated my orders, you can't give a one-word response. He could have said if your client potentially violated my order. So he may have already tipped his hat that he believes that what the president did by posting and reposting these things about witnesses could be in violation of his order. And if so, $1,000 per fine, $1,000 per post.
When jurors are seated again today, David Pecker will be back on the stand. The ex-publisher of the National Enquiry testified already for about 2.5 hours, but prosecutors are not done with their line of questioning.
Jury trials are extremely long. Criminal trials are long. Civil trials are long. This is a merger of both. Even though it is a criminal prosecution, it is rooted in civil law. You're talking about like payments. And so this is a documents-driven case. When you're trying to push some of those things through, you got to establish a history. You got to establish what actually happened. David Pecker was laying that. He took it back to the 80s. I met Trump. Our relationship blossomed. I agreed to be the eyes in the ears for the president. And I would make sure that I could catch and also kill any stories that could potentially damage this guy that was my friend. And also, I'd also put out stories about his opponents that would damage them. And so he's laying the foundation to what I was doing. So then when other folks are getting up there, like a Michael Cohen, someone that has some trustworthiness issues that's lied in the past, you can say, well, you heard Michael Cohen say this, but also Pecker talked about those same things. Someone whose credibility is not an issue. So you got to lay a lot of foundation with him. But yes, the process is long because the judge is managing this case. You don't want jurors to sit there and listen to 20 hours straight, so you got to break it up. Give them 4 here, give them a little bit here, give them a long break so they can digest it and be able to hear it.
Khalif, the big question, we've talked about this a lot, is obviously these schemes, it's not illegal for for a publisher to say, okay, we can pay, we can bury this story. The legality of what Trump allegedly did, how tough is that for jurors to decide? When do you cross that line between doing something that's legal and illegal when it comes to
two parts? And so I think that's something that's being debated within the legal process. And I love when there's these novel questions, right? So yes, that catch and kill is something that you can do. But the process, if you are buying it and you're giving his campaign some financial benefit, now you are giving an in-kind contribution to the campaign. And so most of the time when the conversations would happen, Cohen would say, hey, I'm working for the big guy. I'm working for the boss. I'm not working for the campaign, attempting to distance himself because he recognized if I show that I'm working for the campaign, oh, this may be a violation, because even if I don't give you $1 directly, if I've given you something of value, if it cost us $130,000 to buy the story, if it cost us maybe $40,000 to publish a bad story and it benefited you, that's still a gain that you'd have to count in your campaign as some type of contribution. Well, those contributions are limited. There's a case that was out, Citizens United, that talks about the type of contributions you can make as a corporation. And some would argue that that is not against what Citizens United has said, but some have said, you know what, those types of direct in-kind contributions may be exactly what they contemplated companies not being allowed to do.